Let's do this.
You're listening to episode 79 of Primordial Harmony, a classic retelling of the Elemental Evil story in the D&D multiverse. My name is Mike. I'm running this. If I sound different, it's because I have aligners now. Tonight I'm joined by...
Hello, I'm Senna and I'm playing Delia the Gnome Wizard and also Snow the Elven Tempest Cleric.
And I am Kitties, and I will be playing Hum, the Gnome Bard, and Ren, the Goliath Vibrator.
Hello, I'm Miles Slavkov, and I'm playing everyone's favorite functional drunk, Tadias Odinov, and Osmar Seeker, and I'm also playing Chadicus Winthrop, a druid human.
I'm Nyx, and I'm playing Vox, human rogue, and Bit, a Tabaxi monk.
And unfortunately, our pal, Zafin Justin, can't make it tonight as he has work. But his presence will be felt, for sure.
Did he buy his presence?
Well, when we last left the Pact of Couryit-Dwolm, the crew had just arrived at the Wayshield headquarters once again. Snow mentions to Gordon and the present company that the enemies that GTF encountered also included hobgoblins that didn't seem to be in full control of themselves. Vardic is clearly disturbed by this, but before much else can be discussed, a militiaman arrives and informs Gordon that Colonel Blaze has announced an all clear and that the people would be allowed to go home. The double party all head for the Citadel, the excavators looking to meet Kalazan and Ren, along with the GTF, to retrieve Grobash's body. Through a bit of crowd chaos, the whole group ends up in Colonel Blaze's office. Go figure. Ren tells him of the service she wishes to have for her brother, and Blaze is quick to mention that many of the militiamen were close or respected Grobash and would also seek to attend. The group then retrieves Grobash's body and takes him to the Temple of Kalemvor, where Ren makes arrangements and the excavators, or just Zack, Tadias, and Hum, see Carahil again. From there, Zachriel goes to the Temple of Ogma on the advice of a priest to try and corroborate his memories as Zaman rule to any literature present in the Knowledge God's library, while the rest of the excavators go back to the Citadel to find Kalzan for realsies. They do find him, sitting despondent in the warrens underneath the Citadel. With some questioning and detect thoughts, they learn that the last time Kalzan saw his father, Marshal Chanzal, was the day before the invasion. He didn't seem to be acting strange, but the Marshal told his son to not be in the library at Akka that night. Kalzan also noticed that his father's eyes had subtly shifted from their light blue to a dark violet over the course of a couple 10 days. It is also important to note that Kaluzan was actually at solid strides during the initial invasion, and that individuals belonging to one of the cults stormed the place and corrupted and took earth elementals with them. The excavators, sans Zachriel, assured Kaluzan that he wasn't in the wrong and went to investigate further. With Blaze's permission and chagrin, they investigated the missing Marshal's headquarters. They find the stone floor and walls covered in scratch marks, and a lone Forthstride militia emblem torn from a tabard laying on the floor. Delia also finds in a chest of drawers 16 mysterious yet familiar pieces of rock. With these odd findings filed away, the excavators head back to the Temple of Kalemvor. Meanwhile, Ren gets emotional. It was sad, and you should have been there, honestly. We return to the afternoon of Kythron the 22nd, the Pact of Couryit-Dwolm gathering. So, remind me, is everybody? Are you guys tending back toward the Temple of Kalemvor, or was something else going on?
I'm having a hard time remembering.
I feel like we ended with me saying that everyone was probably heading back. Where'd your tokens go that I made specifically for... Oh no, did I delete them? Oh, poop. Okay, well...
I don't see them on this map now.
I think I deleted them by accident. Well, let me just fix that real quick. Anyway, but everyone is at the Temple of Kalev more, I would figure, which is right here. That'll work.
Be huge.
They're just symbols. So...
It doesn't take too much work for Delia to get that big, though.
No, it does not.
Kaiju noises. Alright, so what's happening? It's the afternoon. Ren and Chatikus just had that big chat. Tadias, Hum, Nox, Delia are coming back from the Citadel, are they? You tell me, fam.
I believe that's where we're coming back from.
Alright. So, it's the late afternoon, like, think around 3 p.m. Sun's still high in the sky, because it is getting toward summer. Getting toward the summer solstice, I believe. I'm gonna check the calendar real quick. Summer solstice? Oh, summer solstice, that's right. You passed the summer solstice, so it's right on the heels of the summer solstice. That's right. Let's do a rundown of what your characters are up to. So, let's start with Kitty's, because I'm about to center on you. So, is Ren still in the temple with her brother?
Ren is sitting outside the temple, and she's sitting on the ground, kind of cross-legged. She just seems to be really in her head. Her eyes are closed. She's just sitting there. She's kind of swaying back and forth.
Oh man, is anybody with her?
Yes, Bit is with her.
Snow is probably still ritual casting ceremony. Just quietly praying over the body.
How long does that spell take?
An hour and 10 minutes.
You're probably nearing the end of it, then, probably. Because it's been a long day, and I think I had placed you guys getting there in like mid-morning, so you're either at the end of it or you've been done with it. Just to kind of adjust our time frames. What's Chatikus up to right now?
Chatikus is probably just enjoying one of the pews of the church. He did, grade A therapy work going in there, I must say. All of his emotional, vacancy. And is just feeling kind of contented and sitting on the pew, allowing her to just breathe out some fresh-eyed air and just waiting if she needs to talk to him.
Okay. Bardic is still out, and he'll come back in time. Alright, well then I'm guessing the excavators are starting to make their way back?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now let me ask, is there anything you guys want to get done before the evening's events?
If we're just walking back to that side and I think I have time, I'm going to just kind of crouch down to Hum and say, I think I need to run off and do an errand real quick. You want to go ahead? I'll meet you later.
Where are you going?
It's none of your business.
I'm gonna follow you if you don't tell me.
You can't catch me.
I will turn into a Tyrannosaurus Rex and chase you.
You really would do that to all these people that knows of my business? You'd scare them to like that.
You could tell me, or you could let everybody else know you have a secret going on.
I kind of stand up. I look to everyone else that's walking with us and say, "Everyone else, I have a secret is going on. I'm going to go deal with it. Bye, I begin walking away.
She
Bye,
throws a
Tobias.
rock at him.
Make an
He catches it.
attack roll? Oh, okay. Well, we'll do that.
No, it's more of a playful, fine, be secretive kind.
like the overarching. Obviously, it's not going to hit him. It's just going to like clatter to the ground near his feet.
Yeah. It's not meant to be like vindictive. It's just
Mhm.
she just doesn't like the idea that he's wandering off when things have been so bad for.
A very large smirk and a raised eyebrow as he walks away from the small rock.
He's going to see Katie.
You see his shoulders raised a little bit as he's walking away.
She just giggled.
Fox gonna be like, "Who's Katie? Is that his wife?"
It's just his
One day.
girlfriend.
Well, I guess the scene follows Tadias. Do you want this to be a DM office affair, or?
It won't matter.
All right.
I'm just going over and checking on the spot.
The spot?
I'm going to check on the Archaeological Society. 'Cause, I
Gotcha.
I work for them. There's probably more NPCs that I know, and I don't know if they're all safe.
Alright. In that case, Tadias trots down to the river across the bridge. Some people still, as he walks, he sees people dealing with the aftermath. Some people are lucky and their homes are barely touched. Others are not so lucky and their homes are trashed. Several militiamen are about and escorting people that don't feel comfortable collecting. Why did you whisper? Why is everyone whispering to the camera?
I'm not whispering to the camera.
Well, I only went to the camera.
No, it went to everybody.
Oh, it went to everybody. Okay, it didn't go to me, which is funny.
Didn't go to me.
I see it.
That's
Kind of weird.
weird. Try if you do GM roll and text, it'll only go to me.
I was whispering to him.
Oh, well, the camera got it for some reason. Okay, well, anyway, so Tadias gets to the Archaeological Institute, and what he sees is militiamen and a couple of familiar folks that he's worked with Katie are pulling down boards that they use to board the place up to help defend it.
All right, I'll enter the building and just kind of spy out, see if I can spot her.
Well, the person, archaeologist that you know the face of and maybe the name, waves to you as you pass, and says, "Katie's in her office."
Thank you. Is she all right? Looks like you managed to get through not too badly.
They look like a look of relief passes over their face, and they say, "Yeah, we got pretty lucky."
All right, well, thank you.
You walk through the hall and into near Katie's office, and you find the doors just swinging ajar.
All right, I'm just gonna slide in, take like that normal, like sit in the chair in the corner where I usually sit whenever she's looking over, like, the next plan or the next map. Just kind of casually and nonchalantly.
She is, like, you see her putting things in order in here. And she turns over and she jumps just a little bit, but then a smile graces her features, and she says, Tadias!
It's good to see you're safe.
It's good to see you're safe, too. Oh my goodness, what happened to your face?
A lot. You can probably tell. I just wanted to check on you. I imagine after what's happened, there might not be any digs happening anytime soon.
She looks a little crestfallen, and she gives a slight nod and says, until everything is calmed down around here, I don't think it's wise to go out and go on digs.
Yes. You're very wise with your decisions. I'm going to just kind of stand up, and I'm going to kind of show her from my journal a little symbol. You see, I've been doing a lot of work recently with way shields and with my friends, and we've been dealing with things, and I'm probably going to be following danger for a while. I just wanted to make sure you knew that I'm not neglecting you, I'm not ignoring you, I just have some things I need to get done. I have to finish some things that have been set up for me.
What symbol are you showing her?
The Earth one.
Oh, okay. She looks at the symbol, and she looks into Tadias' eyes and holds his gaze for many moments, and then she kind of leans over the desk and slips her arms around his shoulders, and she says, I understand. But make sure you come away with this okay.
Right. I want you to remember the symbol. And I want you to know that if you see it, that it's dangerous. And I'm worried specifically about this in this town.
Wait a minute. And then she goes and there's a leather-bound book on her desk, and it's clearly her journal. She opens it up, and then she cracks it open, and she has another symbol that's very close to that, except that the line is on the left slope of the triangle. And then she's like, she turns it a little bit. She says, well, I was watching out at the crack in the window during the whole invasion, and I saw people across over at Solid Strides walking out with that symbol.
That would be the reason I'm leaving. I have to find them.
She cocks her head and she says, I understand that they must have done something terrible, as it is only rubble now, but specifically, why that? And she looks like a mixture of curious and concerned.
Do you believe in fate, Katie?
Her eyes kind of go wide. She says, I mean, I believe in cause and effect, Tadias.
You know, I do too. But sometimes I think things are beyond what we can understand. And I think if I don't do this, many more people will be hurt, and I cannot allow that.
Oh.
And if it wasn't for the people I was with, I don't think I'd be strong enough or capable. I just wanted to be here to let you know that this would be an absence, a leave, if you will, from your services, and it greatly hurts me to do so.
She looks a little saddened, but she shakes her head and she says, you've trusted your gut before, and it hasn't really led you down the wrong path. I trust it too. Just make sure you let your friends take care of you.
They're doing a better job than I am. But I made something for you a while ago. I never had the right time to give it to you. And I'm gonna put the little bottle of perfume I made all those sessions ago onto her desk.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, I have alchemy. What's his face? Zachariel got ate by the frog hemoth. I made it in the swamp.
Alright, I'll have to go back and check that out. You see a visible blush on her cheeks. And then she takes the perfume. It's clearly perfume, right?
It's a little kind of like vial with a dripper on it. Kind of like the ones that you just drop a few little bits, but it has a very flowery kind of smell. I made it from wildflowers in that forest.
Well,
So it's a
dropper. She picks it up and she says, what's this for?
Yeah. When I was over in the west, I found some wildflowers that had a particular fragrance. I was experimenting with things, and I
She
wanted
uncorks
to make
it
something nice.
and she dips a little, or she dabs a little bit on her wrist and sniffs it. And her shoulders relax and she develops a smile. And she says, "Thank you."
Right. I'm happy you like it. Well, I have to get going. I have a funeral to attend, but it's good seeing you.
It's good seeing you too. Please come visit whenever you're in town, okay?
Tanice is gonna kind of like, nod a little bit, not really looking at her. And then just in like a moment of weakness, kind of like snatch her up real quickly and hug her real tight and then let her down and then just, yeah, we'll do that.
She
Begin walking out.
well, when you're letting her go, you notice that she's hugging back and she hasn't let go.
Mm.
But then noticing like your sort of discomfort, she releases.
I'm sorry. A lot has happened recently. I'm happy you're safe.
I'm happy you're safe.
I'll try to stay that way. Bye, Miss Kurek.
She doesn't say anything else as you leave. But the camera pans to her and a little smile is on her face.
Right, and then I'll meet up with all of them.
Alright.
I finally get to remove this perfume from my equipment. It's been here forever.
Is there any other things you guys wish to do before we move on to the evening?
Delia wants to start working on the capes.
The capes! So Delia goes to her... Where does she have her sewing machine? Or, well, is there a sewing machine? There's probably something like a sewing machine. You know, the thingy where you tap the thingy at the bottom. Fuck, what are they called? That
pedal.
The pedal, yeah, the pedal thing that turns the gears and all that. That definitely exists.
Well, I mean, she was just gonna, like, hand sew them.
No, that works too.
Like those old grandmas in church where she's got, like, the flame curtains, like, over her lap and she's sitting in a pew.
Okay.
Hum is sitting on the edge of the pew in front of her and just like jabbering about how things are going, and Tadias leaving without telling us where he's at and how she doesn't like that. How could he walk away? What if something happens to him? I'm going and looking for him in like 20 minutes. If he does not come back in 20 minutes, I'm going looking.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be okay. He's got the thingy.
Huh?
Does he always have secrets like that?
No, that's why I'm so upset. We know everything about Tadias. He doesn't keep secrets from us. And
Oh, you say that again? She what?
she just keeps on jabbering. You know, like girls do when they're upset and they just don't know how to show.
Delia just has a grin on her face.
Wait, Hum?
Yes.
Do you like Tadias?
No, no. But
Okay.
it is my job to make sure that all these people stay very safe. And this walking off, I mean, look, Zachriel's out there walking around doing things without talking to us, and now Tadias is doing it. And this thing is still going on. It was just last night.
So you're like their mom.
Why we gotta put
In a
labels
way?
on it? Why we gotta put labels on it?
She's just very protective. I'll give a little pat to Hum's knee.
Okay.
I need something to do. What
Here,
can I
help
do,
me with
Delia?
this. Help me with this. And I'll give her a spare needle and put one of the curtains on her lap. And like show her the basic stitches and like how to cut it.
She gets engrossed in it. Isn't there a way to do this with magic? I would think you would want to do this with magic. It seems like it would be a lot quicker.
I mean, sometimes the doing it is the magic.
Okay. She starts watching and trying to do it too.
I'm gonna do my best to show her and like show her where to place the stitches to keep them straight and why you should always have your fabric taut.
She's listening. She's very engrossed.
I forgot to do this at the start of the session, but the camera cuts to Stoneflame in the pond on the more upper part of the hill on Pond Way, and he's rinsing his face off as best as he can. He's just like dipping his face in, rubbing his face, trying to get the glitter that Hum and Delia left on him.
Yes.
And then he, as the sun starts to go down, he finally gives up, and he's still got a little sparkly eyeshadow left over, but he managed to get most of it off. But anyways, a little bit further into the afternoon, Ren is sitting outside, right?
Ren is sitting outside.
A halfling woman, or actually two halfling women, one of them obviously older than the other, sort of timidly approach Ren. And the older woman has clearly been crying. Her eyes are red and her cheeks are streaked with tears. And they kitties, remind me of Ren's last name. Wait, I should just find it.
Driumkal.
Driumkal. They approach her, and the woman says, Are you Ren Driumkal?
She opens her eyes and she says, Yes, that is me.
She says, I have sort of I have a bit of a request. She says, we were, and she like, she kind of chokes back a sob, and the younger woman says, we were told that, Marshal Grobash's service was this evening. Well, we don't want to take away from your grieving, but his two captains were also killed, and we were wondering if we could just partake in the service as well.
I think he would like that. I do think that he will be okay with that. And so, yes, please bring them.
Thank you. Is, hi- it was is my brother, her son, Captain Adino.
I am very sorry for your loss. I know how it hurts all the way on the inside when things like this happen.
The older halfling.
And she reaches out and grabs them up in this huge bear.
They were already approaching for a hug, and yeah. Little soft sobs. And then
they were all very fine warriors.
And a little bit of time passes, and they relax a little bit, and they thank Ren.
No, thank you for honoring my brother, too.
We'll be back at sunset, they say.
I will be here.
And they scurry off on their little halfling legs. Is there any other things that you guys want to do before I move to that sunset? I'm guessing no. Alright.
I don't have anything.
Yep.
I mean, maybe Tadias gets there a little bit early and you can have Hum, berate me for a while if you want that one.
That's up to you guys.
I don't know, kiddies. You want to yell at me or not?
I think that she's not going to say a word. She's just going to give you a dirty look.
Excellent. So he'll just kind of sit down next to you and look at the capes. Kind of lean back against the wall, put his arms behind his head.
And she just kind of punches him in the arm and goes back to work.
What are those? You hear Zachriel's voice as he looks over the pew. Are those those curtains from the fire temple?
They sure are.
What are you doing with them?
I'm making capes.
Did you tell him this before? I don't remember.
I don't think I told anybody, but there is no way I was getting those curtains down just by myself.
Sure. Well then he just says, so that's what you were doing with them.
Is this for Renwick or what is it?
No, it's for us. I figured it's very appropriate now that we've got, and I make just a motion at Zachriel.
He cocks his eyebrow and says, well, what do you say to that? He says, have what?
You know.
Capes.
Exactly.
He says, I can't, I'm not gonna even, you know what? He just looks very, considerate as he continues to watch. And, let me find it, Cara Hill approaches. And this is getting later into the day, and at this point, Delia, you're pretty much done with this craft here. And Cara Hill says, well, we're going to be having the Grobash surface outside, because pyre. We don't really want to get too much smoke in here or risk burning the woodwork in the temple. And we're setting up right now. It's going to start soon.
Oh, okay.
So Zachriel says, oh, good. And he starts walking out.
Tadias will follow Zachriel.
Hum helps Delia clean up the capes stuff and whispers to her, This is going to be hard.
It is.
Fucking funerals are hard. Yeah. So, excavators start going out, and you see outside that there is a decent crowd of people. A lot of militiamen in their uniforms. You see Colonel Blaze there. Meanwhile, what's Ren doing now that sunset approaches and she can see the gathering of people? And just to give you an idea of what the scene looks like, I'm gonna use crayons for this. So they have a pyre set up at that red dot, and then there's people gathering all around here and all around here. It's probably a little bit smaller than this because scale is hard, but so Ren, what's this look like when they have Grobash's body, they have a pyre ready to light? How does it go down?
So, she gets in front of everyone and she says, "Thank you all for coming to see these fine warriors."
Wait! Before you do that, don't start the service. But I just want to know, like, what the ceremonies. Well, how does it start? Like, do you light the pyre? I just want.
Well, she's going to explain to them what you do, and then explain how once everybody has spoken, they will light the pyre and they will sit and enjoy the refreshments around while his spirit goes up to what's her face? Yeah, forgot her name all of a sudden.
The Goliath, deity of death.
Kulayak.
Goliath. Okay, so meta question. Are the stories going to be told before lighting the pyre?
Well, and so everybody does it a little different. She wants to tell her story before she lights it, because she is also going to send something with him to protect him.
Okay. But everybody else is, whoever wants to speak, are they going to speak during the pyre or before the pyre?
They'll speak as we light the pyre. Everybody will get a chance to speak.
Sorry, before the pyre? My brain shut off.
No, after.
Got it. Okay.
So she's going to tell his story, and she's going to light the pyre.
Cool.
And then others will have a chance to speak.
All right, and
they will be able to give gifts if they like.
Okay.
To send on his way with him, so that the journey is not without theme.
Okay. And then the other thing. Oh, your music. Do you want that to start as soon as Ren starts talking? Or after the pyre? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Let me get it for you then. And then we'll begin this sad shit. Ooh, actually, wait. I have a cue, so I can just jump. What's my cue? Oh, never mind. So to describe the scene a little bit more, there's a lot of militiamen. There's a lot of Blaze is there. Gordon's there. Bucklesmith, the marshal that has his duty over by Akka, he's there. Does anybody else come to mind? I wouldn't think so, just because of the nature of NPCs and D&D. But you guys are there. Vardix is there. And everyone's sort of not crowded, but standing around near this pyre, far away enough to where there's a little bit of a stage, and the high priest or high obligator Polton, is sort of making sure everything is, in order. And then he looks to Ren, as obviously she's coming out, and says, anytime you like. This is your sort of running the show here, so. Are you good? Are you ready?
I am ready as I'm going to be.
He nods knowingly, gives her a pat on the arm, and then joins the audience.
So she walks in front of the group of individuals and she says, "Thank you for coming to see my brother go to the great Kulak, who will take him to the great beyond. Tonight we will tell her stories so that she knows that he is worthy of that great honor. So I will start by talking to her and telling her that he's ready to go. And then I will light pyre and you all can join in and tell stories of his greatness." So she has tears running down her face. And she says, "Oh, great Kulak, goddess of dead, please take this great warrior, Marshal Grobash, Bird Caesar Driumkal, protector of Forthstride, banisher of large raptors, protector of families. He has been a great warrior. We will give you stories of his heroism so that you may feel him fit to walk with you into the great beyond. I will tell you story of how he got his name, Bird Caesar. And then I will light the pyre for him." She pulls from her pocket a fiber that's pretty thick and fuzzy looking, and she lays it across his hands. And she says, "This is from these great beings that came down and saved me one day. They bring me great peace in my head and peace in my heart. And I hope, brother, that it gives you peace as you walk to the great beyond." If she lights the pyre, she says, "One day, young Grobash was in charge of goat security. He was an older teen, still growing in his larger, more formidable self. We were low on goats, thanks to a flooding incident that happened earlier in the year, and the village was struggling to get the goat population back to its previous size. Grobash had brought them to the valley, allowing the goats to graze, when a large shadow appeared. Looking up, there was a huge raptor flying over. It was a very large beast, big enough for a normal human to ride. It was circling the goats. Grobash was panicked and blew the warning horn and readied his sword. As the bird dived down into the goats, Grobash swung hard and he missed. It continued to dive down, Grobash swinging at it wildly like Wild Man, never making contact with Bird. In one dive, Grobash threw his sword as it grabbed one of our best milking goats. She made the best fermented goat's milk ever. She would be a great loss to our village. So he blew the horn to call out for the best warriors, and he caught the curiosity of the rest of the village too. As the village poured down towards the noise, we all saw Grobash holding the claw of this bird, trying to keep the bird from taking off again. He was holding with the other hand a big boulder, and the bird with the other. The chief was quick to have the warriors kill the large bird. It was cleaned and cooked for the village that night. Grobash was named Bird Caesar by the chief due to his quick thinking in stopping the large bird and his ability to protect the village goats from the biggest raptor, and we had the best dinner we had had in ages. To Grobash, Bird Caesar.
One of the militiamen shouts out, "Bird Caesar!" And then all of the militiamen in the audience chant back, "Bird Caesar!" And there's a little bit of murmur from militiamen that your PCs can hear. I never knew that. Never knew that. I wish we knew that.
Who else would like to stand forth and tell Kulayk about the brave warrior Grobash, Bird Caesar?
I would. Zachriel pipes up, and he walks up to the near the pyre, to the the area, the stage area, and he looks at Ren and goes for a hug.
She hugs him.
And then he raises his voice so that everyone can hear. And he says,
"Dearly departed friends," looks to the militia. "Family," looks to Ren. "Clansmen," looks to Stoneflame. "We are brought here today to celebrate and honor the life of Marshal Grobash. Grobash was and is a testament to what the people of Forthstride can be. He lived his life in service to protecting the peoples of Forthstride, regardless of their race, their color, or their creed. He was a strong bastion in the defense of this land. I remember a time long ago when Floriana and myself came to Forthstride. We had came from our homeland to look to start a new life. Grobash was of the first we met upon our arrival. He showed us Forthstride and even offered a place for myself to work. But the militia life was not for me, and I think deep down he knew that. But I always respected his desire to go out of his way, even for someone he barely known. Many years later, I would come to know Grobash as more than just a defender of Forthstride. When Hum, Alaria, Tadias, Cahill, and myself came together and descended into the ruins below the city, and forded the strange dealings within, Grobash hailed us as the Excavators, a name that has stuck with our group through all of our travels in this region. I believe that if it wasn't for the aid Grobash gave us within our investigations, we would be lost in this time of strife. Later our team unfortunately would lose Cahill, but we would gain the amazing wizard, looks to Delia. Delia. We investigated strange going-ons with the elementals in the region, and Grobash was there to provide the support of the militia and himself. I don't know why or how his time has come to pass, though I truthfully believe that Grobash went down defending all of the peoples of Forthstride. For that, we will aid Ren in her quest for revenge. In the name of Grobash, we will make whoever took him from us regret that mistake on my honor as a way shield. In the name of my friend, Marshal Grobash. Gone, but never forgotten.
And he looks to Ren, gives another nod, a tear going down his face, which steams away because he's a Genasi. And he goes to move. He moves to start taking his place back with the audience.
And she cheers again. To Grobash.
To Grobash! Bird Caesar! Just to pause for a second, do any of the PCs have something they want to say? Bleh.
Hum stands up. And she says, I've lived in Forthstride a good portion of my life, and I remember Grobash fondly. He helped me when I was young and doing things that were so legal. Instead of putting me in jail, he showed me how to make money the right way. He introduced me to Gizo and showed me twiddles and fiddles. He was the one that saw my talent as a bard. He told me how bards were so important in groups, how they helped individuals and fighters become better by allowing them to relax. He challenged me to be better than myself. And he was always a good friend. He was the one that gave our group a name. He's the one that called us the Excavators. And it stuck. And it stuck because he saw in us those things that are important to a cohesive group. He knew that we would be together and we would be wonderful fighting together. And his guidance and his honor we missed so badly in Forthstride. I hope that he is able to rest in the next plane. To Grobash.
To Grobash! Bird Caesar! Bird Caesar!
Hum breaks out the bottle and she hands it to Ren and she says, for you, I know it's not fermented goat's milk, but I know that your brother was a kind and good warrior, and we all deserve to drink him to the next level. Ren just looks at her and says, thank you.
Blaze, Colonel Blaze of the Forthstride Militia, stands up, makes his way to the stage area, and he puts his arms, or his hands behind his back, and he bellows out, let me tell you all about Grobash's time, his early time in the militia. Everyone starts as a private. Grobash, well, physically impressive, didn't show me any indication that he could lead. Well, that lasted only about 2 days. A fire, just a regular fire, broke out at a elemental industrialist worker's home near Simple Heat. The details escape me, but suffice it to say, there was some sort of fuel on the inside. Grobash was on duty that day and took initiative immediately. Without any training, he got 2 other privates he had just met to get water to inform the commander on watch. Now, you may think that this is the part where he went in all alone, selflessly. Grobash, while brave, understood calculating risk. He waited until he was doused with water before entering. He saved the occupants of that house. It didn't take long after that for him to make captain. He looks to Ren and nods at her. And he returns to the audience.
To Grobash!
To Grobash! Bird Caesar! A human approaches. And He also stands at sort of something that looks like parade rest. And he says, "Hi there, I am Captain Dion Polath. I'd like to tell you all about the time Grobash saved someone getting mauled by a wild earth elemental. It was about last year, around, what month was that? Oh, it was around spring. He wrestled a wild earth elemental to the ground. He pinned it and kept it still until the technicians could come and quell it. I'll never forget that day." He looks to Ren, and then he says, he's gesturing and says, to Grobash! To Grobash! And he goes back into the audience. A bronze dragonborn approaches the stage. He says, "Hello there, I'm Private Beodar Antor. I remember a time where..." he smirks and he gets a toothy grin and he says, "Grobash used a huge waste container to contain a wild water elemental, and he sat on it. He pinned it down with his own weight until the Clear Currents guys could come and clean up. I didn't think that was an option, but, well, it's the kind of man he is. To Grobash!" And he goes and sits down. A half-elven man with blonde hair approaches the stage. He says, "Hello everyone, I'm Private Aldemir Kimnu. I just wanted to share a story, a time where, when I was under Grobash's command, he stopped a thief at one of the show floors for the Elemental Company. There's a thief that was stealing parts, and he set up a sting. And it was one of the most ingenious plans. We would be here too long for me to explain, but he helped a lot of people keep their jobs. To Grobash! To Grobash!
To Grobash!
Tadias Dimitri's there. And, you guys might have interacted, but he walks up to the stage, and he says, Let me tell you about the time where our mutual friend Grobash, he took on a frenzied air elemental with nothing but a rosined dagger. It was quite a feat. The creature was completely out of control, and Grobash stuck to his guns, and despite getting whipped around by the wind, he took the beast down and destroyed it. To Grobash! To Grobash!
To Grobash!
A tiefling approaches the stage. He says, Hello, I'm Captain Geld Vorum. I just wanted to add to the stories of his adventures at the Elemental Industrial Hill. There was a time where he had a patrol, 2 patrols, lead a wild water elemental and a wild fire elemental to crash into each other and douse the flames and turn to steam the water, and it saved a lot of people that day. To Grobash!
To Grobash!
And he leaves the stage. And finally, a human who comes from this one part of the crowd that Ren sees the halfling, the 2 halfling women, mother and sister of one of Grobash's captains. He approaches and he says, Oh, evening. I am Private Mark Iston. I'm speaking on behalf of Adino's mother and sister. There was a time that Grobash, instead of throwing in jail this young halfling thief, became a mentor of sorts to him. He taught him how to live an honest life, and soon Rothas Adino became one of his most trusted and capable captains. To Grobash.
To Captain Odino, too.
And he nods to Ren, and he walks down. A couple other militiamen tell various other stories, and the pyre continues to burn. And it lasts far after the sun has set. And how does this close, Ren?
In the tradition of the Goliath, we will now drink to our great friends, Grobash, Adino, the captains who have lost their lives. Bring forth your cups and let's drink!
There's a couple of acolytes for Kalemvor who have a a small cart of wooden cups. And people start to file and grab a cup and get a drink. Toasts are had. And the moon rises into the sky as the fire burns. Does any of you guys want to do anything with your dudes at this moment? Delia, Snow?
Delia's just been watching, wiping tears away. And Snow's kind of like staying on like the back lines.
Actually, yeah, this is a good point. This is actually a great opportunity for a little bit of group therapy. Unfortunately, Justin's not here, but I'll ask him for. Maybe we'll give him a little opportunity for that next week. What's going on in Delia's head?
Well, Delia's not quite, like, being honest, Delia's not quite as emotional as everyone else because she didn't really know him that well.
Sure.
And Snow, I don't think knew him at all outside of like seeing him around.
Not just Grobash's funeral, but also like everything that's been going on in the past couple of days. Like synthesize that a little bit if you can. Matter of fact, I'm gonna change the music too.
Deep question. Delia's more resolved than ever to like help save the world because like that's her whole thing is she wants to be like someone who saves the world. She wants that adventure. I'm not so sure about Snow.
She did have that one directive from her goddess, though, if you don't remember.
I do. She's not one to question her goddess. So like as soon as Aurel told her, no, don't do that, it's like out of her mind.
Oh, I'm not talking about the temple. When maybe you'll remember after I remind you. When you guys took down Kaleholt, and you had that moment with Aurel, she told you to go after cultists by saying, freeze and sunder until none remain.
I did not remember that. So she's also kind of itching to get on the road.
All right. Next, let's dive into your two characters' minds. After all the events that have been going on the past couple of days, what's going on through their heads? Let's start with Bit.
Bit is now. She. Oh, I,
Do you want me to
she
come back to you?
She wants to. Yeah.
Okay. uh, Miles.
So Chadicus is enjoying seeing this foreign kind of, ceremony performed and kind of like, musing about it and looking about it and seeing the intrinsic details of it and marking them in his mind. And he has promised to help Ren exact revenge, and he is preparing himself to do whatever is necessary to see that the things that did this to Grobash die a very painful death. Tadias has been struggling and is just unsure of so many things and is living in doubt, but through the talks with Hum and having a chance to see Katie, knowing his parents are safe, is finally catching a second wind and preparing himself mentally to know that he's going back to fight those cultists and, Orborough. And he's finally seeing, with all of the community of Forthstride here, that they need protection, and he's more resolved in what he has to do and what destiny he thinks he has to fulfill.
What about you, kiddies?
So Ren is just beside herself with grief. Her deal was she was supposed to go and bring Grobash home. So she had come down from the mountains. She is looking to she's really a young barbarian, and she's just really trying to understand how to handle all of those changes that go on in a totem barbarian's life. And she needed Grobash to give her that guidance. He was going to be her mentor. So right now, she's so focused, she's so confused in her head of what she's supposed to do, but she's focused on making sure whomever has done this to him pays. As for Hum, she is kind of mother henning it right now. She hears, she's had conversations with Tadias, and she worries about how he's doing emotionally. She's worried about Zachriel and his family and what this means for him. And she's worried about Gizo and how her life has just been turned upside down. She doesn't own anything anymore. Everything's gone. And so she's struggling right now, and she's trying to make sense.
I might just ask Justin for like a recording of his group therapy later. Nix, do you think you're good?
Yeah, so Bit is, consoling Ren and thinking about her like, yes, I'm going to help her. I'm going to help her get revenge. And she's also thinking about her own revenge that can maybe happen later. And as far as Vox, she just wants to get out of there on the road to her next adventure.
Vox isn't really a character that's really tied down, is she?
Nope.
It takes all kinds. Okay. So the ashes and embers sort of are just glowing embers at this point. The flames have burned away. There's nothing left of Grobash's body except for his bones at this point. So
Ren goes to just seeing his bones, and she uses her her battle axe to kind of fish out his skull.
Mm-hmm.
And puts it on the side so it can cool.
Gotcha.
And she will sleep next to the pyre tonight to make sure that no one should take anything from it.
All right. Just real quick, what do your characters do, if anything else? Or are they just gonna go back to their own places, or what's it all look like?
I think I'm gonna ask Ren. Do you want some company tonight?
Thank you very much, but this is kind of a family thing. You may go and take care of your things.
I'll leave it to you.
Alton, the High Priest, or in their titles, Obligator of Covmore, makes sure to ask Ren if she needs anything before
No,
turning
I
in
will
himself.
be fine. I will be fine.
All right. Delia, Snow, how do you end your night?
Delia's gonna turn to Hum and ask her, Hum, do you want to stay with me tonight?
I would love that. I had no idea where I'm gonna go.
And then I'll escort Hum back to my student flat, if that's okay with Tadias and Zachriel.
I'm pretty sure Zachriel would be fine with it.
And then Snow will go back to her temple, spend a few hours like sharpening and honing ice and praying to Ariel.
Zachriel will take his leave to return to the Wayshield headquarters, which is going to be his family's home for a while, according to Justin.
Vox is with Zachariel, headed to Wayshields.
His Floriana and Sihara were at the at the place too. They're at the service too. So you guys are all going back, and the mood is a little solemn, and they just, everyone sets themselves up to hit the hay, as it is quite late. Tadias, Chaticus.
Chaticus, seeing the other people check on Ren and how she doesn't need anything, will honor her space and her wanting for being alone, and will return home. Start getting all the things he needs together for traveling soon.
All right.
Tadias, I guess, is going with Zachriel and Vox because his parents are there and he's got to check up on them. Probably just find a spot on the Wayshields to nap.
Oh, you know what? Since we didn't really cover this, but his parents probably want to get back to Poor Decisions.
Actually, I'll probably be helping them at Poor Decisions.
Okay. Yeah, cleaning up what you can clean up and all that.
Bits of my mug that are on the floor now.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So, the night passes, and we move on into Kythron 23? Yeah. Cool. So, why don't we all take a minute or 5, and then we'll continue. Relax our emotions a little bit. Cry. Get a good cry going. Get a good cry out, I'm gonna get some more water.
Cool. I guess I'll see you in 5.
Morning comes. Arrives. So, so just let's give a basic overview of what's happening today. What are you guys planning on doing? I heard a lot of talk of travel. Is that going on? Are your characters going to push for that?
Well, Vox is gonna go to Gordon, see what's next step.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Delia, you guys wake up. Where you headed? What are you doing?
Well, I'm not quite sure what's next. I asked Delia, do we think we should check in with Thaddeus and Zachriel and Gordon?
Delia's like messing with her already unruly hair, trying to get it like somewhat tamed as she's waking up. And she says, "It's probably a good idea."
Alright, so Hum and Delia start heading out to Wayshield headquarters. What's Thaddeus up to?
I'm assuming if we got there kind of late-ish, we at least got the main kind of area of poor decisions cleared of debris and glass. So probably just wakes on the cold hard floor, kind of looks at the ceiling for a little while, takes a heavy breath, and gets up and heads towards the way shields where Zachariel was. I assume he's going to be excited to get out of here.
Just as you're about to wake up, a wrapped in bread wrapped sausage is put in your face.
It's nice that some things don't change.
Thaddeus' mother says, "We've got to have some normalcy."
All right, thank you.
And she gives you a big-ass hug before you go.
I give her a hug back. I take the sandwich and I look at her and I say, "You'll be all right while I'm gone?"
As long as you are.
I'll do my best.
And let's just quickly go over. So Ren wakes up next to the burnt-out pyre. A couple of acolytes are cleaning things up. Oh, good, you're awake. What do we do? What would you like to have done with the bones and ashes?
What does one do with bones and ash?
Well, we could put them in an urn for you.
Urn sounds perfect.
Okay, we'll have it here. We'll have it. We'll start. We'll collect them and get them into the urn, and they should be ready for you in a couple of hours.
Could you send them to Jadakis's house?
They look at each other. Chadicus Winthrop?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. We'll have that done for you.
I'll be taking his skull with me.
Okay. Totally unfazed by that. And they get to work cleaning up the ashes and stuff. Where's Ren off to?
She carefully wraps his skull and puts it in her pack in a safe place. And then she's going to head over to Chadicus' house because that's all she really knows there besides the way shields.
Chadicus, you awaken to Goliath footsteps out your door. Or maybe you're awake already. You tell me.
I'm imagining, Ren walks up and just hears a loud, snorting, chortling, coughing, wheezing, breathing kind of sound coming from one of the side rooms.
Good lord.
She just sits in his garden.
After a little while, he'll just. Morning. And kind of just roll out of bed, get his slippers on, grab a teacup, and start starting the boil, and just see her sitting in the garden, and be like, "Oh, hello, good morning.
Good morning. You have more tea?
I'll add some more water."
She has pulled like one of his turnips and is eating.
That reminds me of that scene from Holes where they're eating raw onions out of the ground in that like oasis area.
Onions.
It's kind of like that.
Cool. Hey, where did Bit end up in the night?
Oh, she went over by the pond.
Okay.
So she did her morning routine, and then I think she would have headed over to
How does...
Chadicus's place. Yeah.
Okay. How... No, that's not something I want to get into. Never mind. Okay. So, three of you are at Chadicus's place. Bardic is already at the Wayshield headquarters. Go back to your scene, though.
I'm just eating turnips for breakfast. Did you want one, kitty person? What happened to Stoneflame? Does anybody know? He did not even say anything nice about Grobash last night.
Well, many people grieve in their own particular ways. Perhaps he's a more solemn type. Doesn't say as much.
Meanwhile, back at this point, all the excavators have gathered at Wayshield headquarters, and Stoneflame's there, and he looks he isn't really as talkative as he usually is, but that's just for the camera, the sake of the audience. Continue with with the scene with Ren, Bit, and Chadicus.
Well, in Goliath culture, it is not really good at funeral not to say something.
Is this true for the people who only knew him slightly, or is that just for the other members of the clan?
He is part of clan. He was not kicked out of clan. He was just asked politely to leave.
Perhaps we should go and have a chat with him.
It's okay. We will let him be him.
Well, regardless, the turnips are need eating. You can collect a few more for the road if you'd like. Snow is a very capable warrior. We should definitely speak to her. She'll have some ideas of exactly how we're going to find these people.
Yes, revenge is imminent. Let's go find Snow.
Excellent.
So Snow was already early morning sitting outside the Wayshield headquarters. As soon as her trance was done, she's ready to go. All geared up, just sitting outside, arms crossed, ice across her lap.
I'll say that as the other, or Vardic is there too. I think Vardic might, if Justin were here, Vardic would probably take up a conversation with Snow about religious matters, but I will not attempt to replicate that. But the excavators and the rest of GTF arrive around that time, and Gordon is standing outside.
Also, can I retcon something for Delia?
Sure.
I want to wrap the cloaks up in nice paper, in like little packages.
Cool.
So that whenever we get to the Way Shield headquarters, me and Hum can pass them out to the excavators.
Ooh.
Ren has grabbed extra turnips, and she tries to hand one to each to Vardic and to Snow, and she says, "They are delicious. His best breakfast ever."
Vardic takes his blanks and takes a big bite out of it.
So does Snow.
They're delicious, aren't they?
I suppose no one will be deprived of vitamins today.
Gordon says, So, he pulls out a small notepad. For my records, so that we can keep track of each other. Where are your teams going?
We are going for revenge.
I mean location. He looks at Snow.
Revenge? I don't know where it is yet.
He looks at Janicus or Snow.
I'll kind of put my hand up and say, we believe the revenge will be located in the Conadir Forest, where we heard from your other team that there was reports of suspicious cult activity.
Conadir
Yes,
Forest.
where those cults are where we are going. Because that's where the revenge will happen.
All right.
A high probability.
There will be killing. We will be great warriors.
I think Zachariel would have a little smile at that. And Vardic
Snow gives an enthusiastic nod.
And excavators, where are you headed?
I think we're headed to Orboro.
Be way too long, she's going to get in trouble, but we also have business to do there.
He notes that down. All right, then. Good luck to all of you. Don't, he says, don't hesitate to communicate with me or with each other if your abilities allow, he says to Snow and Delia.
And make that little, the meme where it's like, can't do this if you don't whatever.
She puts her
pointing at his head,
her temple.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
All right. He smiles and he nods. He looks. He like gives that kind of credit. Like, yeah, cool. And you guys want to do anything else before you leave Forthstride? Do you want to?
What are the chances of finding supplies?
Does Hum make an effort to... What does Hum want? Bolts? Bolts. Okay. So, let's see. On Market Square, she actually finds that people are starting to pick up the pieces of their lives. It seems that the Null invasion was more so about killing than destroying things. And there's a general store with their stock. They just spent the last evening putting everything back in order. So yeah, after sussing that out, yes, Hum can get bolts for the normal price.
Oh, awesome. And I know that she got the new assault crossbow, but I don't remember where we put
The item card? It's in...
Am I just...
The item card is Mojo crossbow, and it's all...
Oh, that's right. It's in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
There we go. Okay, so she needs to buy bolt.
I am going to say that for a gnome, you can carry 3 quivers of bolts, cases of bolts, before you start looking ridiculous. So 60 bolts.
Okay. So she's gonna buy all those.
Okay, regular price, which I'm sure I trust you to look up and then deduct from your coffers.
Absolutely.
Alright, is there anything else you guys want to do?
I'm putting on my cape. I'm giving everybody else their capes.
Stylish, says Zachriel.
Puts it on and is just excited. Oh my gosh, we match!
I do like the whenever you have a cape and you like swirl it around, you hold the edges of it like a vampire.
Oh my gosh, you were so stylish.
So are you.
Today begins taking off the little bit that he was wearing already. Starts putting on the other one. It's heavier. It's not bad.
Box
Come
is gonna
help me
go up
make
to
them.
Gordon.
Did Vox get a cape out of curiosity?
Yeah, I'll give her the cape I was making.
But I wasn't out there yet.
Oh. I was playing as if everybody was out in front of the Wayshield headquarters. Is that what you meant? What does the scene look like in your head, Nix?
Is it the delay? Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yeah, she was there.
Okay. So she goes up to Gordon, you say?
Gordon, might I have a word?
Sure. And he like gestures as he gestures as if, do you mean in private?
Oh, no, it's fine. We can talk here. Now that the city is secure, do you need me anywhere else?
Well, I assumed you were going to head out with the excavators here. You are working with them throughout the duration of the invasion. Seems like they need someone that's good with the bow. He strokes his chin and he looks to Snow and he says, then he looks at the bow that Vox has and says, say, Snow, do you happen to have any more of those strange arrows?
I do, and I'll pull them out of like my little bag, and she's like bundled them together at this point with a little bit of like twine, and hands the 4 over to Gordon.
Perhaps we can use their own strange weapons against them. And he gives the 4 of them to Vox.
Are you sure? Does no one else need them?
Do any of you use a bow? He says to everybody. I didn't think so. I didn't notice a bow on any of you other than Vox.
I only use a crossbow. It's not going to help.
Well, it's far too long for a crossbow. It'll just tumble end over end.
Yep, exactly.
I will take these and I will use them well.
He nods and smiles.
I look over to the group. Are you sure you would want me to join you guys?
Delia skips over and hands her the last packaged up.
For me?
If you want it.
But you have to come with us, says Zachriel.
Yeah, it's kind of a set.
And we really do need a 5th.
It only looks right for numbers, you know.
Before you guys let me join you, should know something about me.
Gordon's eyes kind of like his eyebrows raise up, and he looks at.
Gordon, can we go somewhere private?
I was about to suggest that. Follow me. He says this specifically to the excavators. And to, well, we can resolve that later. So he leads you guys into a small office. And there's like a couple of chairs if anyone cares to sit.
This room will just do fine.
He shuts the door. And then he gestures to Vox.
I need a volunteer. Trust me, you guys won't get hurt.
Everyone here matters a lot, so I'll do it. And I kind of walk forward and stand in front of her. What do you need me to do?
I assure you no one will get hurt.
You better hope so.
I promise.
Zachariel puts like a comforting as he can hand on Hum's shoulder. But he also puts a hand on Suni's, which is behind Hum.
Mm-hmm.
Please, go ahead.
So she stands in front of Tadias, right? And she looks at him. Studies him. And as she's studying him, you guys see her face turns, her body turns, exact replica of Tadias. So before you, there's two Tadiases.
What?
And I turn to all of you guys. I know my race, it can be hard to trust me, but I promise you guys, you can trust me. I would never betray or trick you. I'll have you back as long as you have mine.
It's quite a useful feature, or it's quite a useful trait, actually. We used it a couple of times in our older mercenary days, says Gordon.
I have a very similar spell I can cast. It'll be useful.
So you too can look and talk like Tadias.
As she says something.
Only if I kill him.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, your method is much less painful.
She goes back to being her human form. Now, do you still want me to join you?
I'm going to look to the back of the group, and I'm going to look back to her. Nothing has changed for me.
She told this to us in confidence. And Gordon vouches for her, then I trust you too.
Doesn't bother me.
I, for one, think it's amazing.
Then I shall wear that.
Come again?
Then I shall wear that cape proudly. So Vox puts on the cape.
Looks good on you. You ready to go?
I'm ready and eager.
So you guys, oops. So you guys walk out. You walk out with the sweeping capes.
We must begin. Looks.
I wanted to do that.
Nice.
I wonder if Delia has given us the Ginyu Force pose yet.
Sorry, hang on. Alright. I'm probably gonna get a strike for that, but we'll see. Not a strike, but whatever. Cool. So, let's just narrate, leaving Forthstride. So, do the two parties sort of end up walking together out of the city?
I mean, we are headed the same direction.
You are headed the same direction, and there's a good chance... Oops, that's not the right person. There's a good chance that you're probably going to end up, you know, with each other until the fork. So, just so that there's nothing else you guys wanted to do, is everyone about to head out?
I think we are. I
All right.
don't have anything else I want to do except for those capes are amazing. I wish our team had capes.
Well, if you find me a bunch of curtains, I'll make some for you.
I
And
am
Hum can help?
totally looking for curtains now.
That gives me such a good idea. You'll see it like about 2 months away, maybe 3 months away from now.
So Ren looks at Delia and she says, "Is it true that Gordon named you guys? Not Gordon, but Grobash named you guys the excavators? Why are you the excavators?"
Well, that's it's a story that Hummer, Tadias, or Zachriel can probably tell you a little bit better.
You do not know story? Zachriel has a shovel?
It has to do with the shovel, if you can believe it.
Also, the fact that we went underground and, we routed out a weird branch of... He looks at Deadias, who I can only believe was part of the Earth Cult.
And we're digging the symbol into people's skulls with this, and I kind of tap my side where Rezier is. So, about right.
That is an amazing name. The excavators. That is a really cool shovel. Where does one get a shovel like that?
Zachriel kind of stammers and says, it's special. Perhaps, He snaps, he says, in Tomer, there's a gnomish artificer. Perhaps he can make you something similar.
Ooh, I will have to look. I do not know how well I would do with a shovel, but I am a pretty good raid warrior with this axe. And she pulls her axe off her back and shows it to them.
The axe with the huge pommel.
It has a huge. It does. It has a huge pommel at the end. It's this large, like carved rock at the end. You should see what this does to a skull. It is amazing.
So actually, I think you guys are still in Forthstride, like, chatting a little bit before parting ways, and you're probably, in fact, yeah, sorry, 1 second.
Before we leave Forthstride, Box is going to pick up some arrows.
Okay. With arrows, maximum of 3 quivers. At normal prices and all that stuff. Oh yeah, there's also like militiamen that are cleaning up the rubble here.
Anybody have the price table handy?
Oh, the Roll21 works too. So while you're resolving that,
Thank you.
yeah, you guys are definitely like at this bridge here. Just about to part ways as this road leads north, and this road leads not as north, but more west. And the group parts ways. Any parting words you want to have for your own dudes?
Oh, can I give I'm gonna give Chadicus, Delia's gonna give Chadicus some of the rosins that we found.
Ah, yes.
What are these?
We're not exactly sure, but they're kind of similar to these other things that we have.
Does Chadicus know anything about these rosins?
He knows about rosin. He knows about... He vaguely knows about these tools that the militia use to enhance their weapons. And depending on... And with everything that the parties have shared with each other, he knows about elemental arms and how it's defunct now and how there's no more being made.
Well, I certainly know a few people who could use this as I begin handing them off to Vardic and everyone else.
I'm gonna give him 8 of them, so we split them between the party.
So, out of curiosity, does anybody, specifically Tadias, have the means to identify these?
The things?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tadai's good, but he hasn't seen much interest in it yet.
Okay. Well, so then you don't know what these do. Exactly.
Ooh, mysteries.
Alright, cool. Is there anything else you guys want to do or say before you split ways?
Goodbye, excavators with the great capes. I will bring you stuff, Delia, for capes for us. Thank you very much. I will. And you take care, you little people, and protect them very much. They are great peoples.
So the 2 adventuring crews split off and start making their way out. One more scene with the GTF before we focus on the excavators. As you guys are walking out of town on the south side of this river, you hear, "Wait! Wait!" And Stoneflame walks up, runs up. He says, he goes up to Ren, And he says, Ren, I need to apologize. He says, I was so concerned about not competing with you during your day of grief that I forgot to say something at your brother's moot. And for this, I am very sorry.
It's okay. I get it. It's hard being lesser than me.
And he both like furrows his eyebrow, but also smiles. And he says, yes, do that. I'm going to be joining you, and we will see who really is the best in the fighting.
It's okay. You don't have to try. These people have seen me beat you.
He says, "Oh no, we're not going to fight each other, because we will all need to be at our most strongest." He says, "But I bet I'm going to slay many more creatures that are against us than you."
You know you have to start the count again now, because you can't count all those ones you did before, because you're so much older than me.
He stammers and says, No, of course not. We're going to start the counter at 0 now, and then see how many each of us take down before we get back.
Mr. Chadicus, can you make sure that he stays honest?
I will do my best.
See, now you cannot lie.
No, I will certainly watch you. If I catch you lying or cheating, you will forfeit and have to admit your inferiority.
He says, well then, why don't we have Chaticus count for the both of us?
Oh, he is already watching me. He knows I am an amazing warrior.
He says, you are an amazing warrior, but I'm amazinger.
I am amazing guest.
And this continues as GTF starts walking down toward Tamar. But we're going to move on to excavators. On the road again. Me. Oh, cool. We got enough time to do things. Alright, so. Actually, as the excavators are moving northward, I need better travel music. I don't have good travel music, do I? Well, they see as they are traveling north, they're actually being passed by a couple of way shields that are without any escort. And there's a conversation that happens where they ask about what's going on with the danger in Forthstride. And Zachariel is quick to say, don't worry, friends. It's all been mostly taken care of. People are cleaning up and getting back to their lives. But check in with Gordon. And they all, acknowledge that and head off. So, full day of travel under your feet. And you get to about here before night falls. And Zachariel cooks a meal. And you guys...
Guys, you know what we get to do that we haven't done in a really long time?
Tiny hut?
Tiny hut.
Woo! Tiny hut!
Oh, Vox hasn't seen a tiny hut.
Nope.
So what's...
Can our tiny hut have flames?
Sure, your tiny hut can have flames. I will let that happen.
Yes, that's what we're gonna do then. It's a red tiny hut with orange flames coming up the side.
The Hot Wheels crew.
Yes. It is glorious.
It is glorious. That night, Tadius has a dream. Oh, I should just jump to it. Oh well, too late. So, Tadius, you awaken to find yourself staring at a huge, what looks like a sand or mud pit that's surrounded by rocky mountains. And you can feel the wind blowing against you, and your hair tussles and your clothes snap in the wind. And then you hear Saphonir, you recognize the Saphonir, but Katie's voice, and she says, how are you doing?
Better than we last spoke.
Good. She...
What are you showing me?
This place is where there's something happening there. And I can't tell you the exact directions to get there, but I think if you continue on the track you're going on, you'll end up there anyway. She says, I saw you handle one of the weapons of the leaders of these cults, the dagger.
The one that disappeared?
She nods. She says, there's one... She says, you're going up against the cults of Black Earth. She says, their leader carries something similar. Those items, those are keys to either proliferating their chaos or ending it. You must do what you can to learn about these keys and perhaps even stop them from disappearing. They're going somewhere.
So if we defeat the leaders but don't remove the items, they will continue to cause mischief.
Something like that. They are drawn to a dark place that I cannot view without a connection, which in turn would be you if you ever end up there.
Right. I am committed to doing what you need of me. And I will do all I can to stop this.
It'll be in your best interest to recover that item and keep it as long as you can. I believe your arcane ally can, and she smiles as she says this, because she's clearly referring to Delia, can stop it from disappearing on you. She puts her hand on your shoulder, and you feel like this. It's not the same as like a human comfort. You can definitely feel like this divine influence that's there to just sort of bolster you and calm you. And she says, good luck, Tadius.
Thank you.
And the vision turns white and you wake up, along with everyone else.
As I start getting up and put on the cape, I'm going to sneak by Delia, probably while she's eating breakfast, and kind of tell her what I know about these items, about the knife I got, and that we might be running into more of them. I don't know why it disappeared, but the next one we run into, I want you to be prepared to try to stop it from moving. Do you think you have anything for that?
I can try and dispel the magic on it.
If that will work, I'll tell him as well. Alright, you should finish that. I'll go talk to her.
I stuff the rest of my breakfast into my mouth.
Everyone's getting up and getting packed and getting ready to move another couple of days.
Is just singing flame hut, flame hut, flame hut.
How
The flame
long
hut.
does this hut last for?
Ever. Just kidding. Just tonight. It'll disappear anytime now into a sparkly
Poof.
mist.
It disappears.
It also disappears if I leave it, but we've not had to do that as of yet.
Good to know.
Alright. Shall we continue? Says Zachriel.
I have been reworking the Froggy Mythos song.
He grumbles.
I'll save it.
I'm gonna, before we get going, ritual cast Phantom Steed so that Hum and I have a
Phantom steed.
a steed.
You just do that every hour.
Okay. While we're walking, I'm gonna like kind of palm the melted hilt and start doing my ritual on that.
Didn't you already do that? Oh no, you did that on the arrow, and then Justin asked Torlir about it, or something like that happened. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, Torlir was asked by Zachriel about the thing. I added it, but I never did anything with it.
and I wrote down a thing for it, and I don't remember where it is. But
We should probably resolve that when Justin gets back. That's kind of what I'm leaving it for.
okay. Yeah, we can put a pin in this, and then we can just do like a flashback next week of like being on the road and having that chat.
That works.
So you have that chat, and it's like, whoa. But the next couple of days are quite uneventful as you make your way to Orborough. And I will do some calendar work real quick before we move on to that. Because a couple of days passed. Where is that map at? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Where's Orborough? What the hell? Okay.
It's over here.
Where is it? Should be starts with an O. It should be by the O, and then. Oh, the archive pages aren't in alphabetical order. Cool. Thanks, Roll20. Okay. I've got way too many pages that aren't archived. Oh, where'd you go? Okay. Great. Alright. Calendar work. Okay, so... As you guys do your melted hilt scene, it's the 24th of Kythron. And then you move... Get to here. I've actually marked, like, the... the day's travel locations on the GM layer. Spend the night, so then that's the 25th. Get to there, it's all quiet on the western front. Turns to the 26th. The evening of the 26th, you arrive at Orborough. Let me do that calendar work so I don't forget.
I'll be right back.
Okie dokie. Okay, cool. Oh, actually, I need to mention something. And I'll do that. Rewind. 24th. As you guys are passing Conadir. But I'll say that as soon as Case gets back.
Sorry, back.
Hello. Alright. No. Go back to the obvious. Okay. So, as you guys are, so on the 24th of Kaithran, as you guys are heading around the lip of the Conadir Forest, where you can see the tree line, being this close, you actually smell smoke in the air. And looking toward Conadir, you can see that there's a cloud of smoke hanging over it.
I hope Illyria is safe.
Well, this isn't where she is it? I thought she was going back to her homeland.
Hum is correct. She doesn't live in Conadir Forest. Her homeland is not the
Where does she
Conadir
live?
Forest. Out of the region somewhere. We kept it nebulous just because I didn't want to like super define anything outside of the region before we get to it.
Gotcha. I didn't know it was so nebulous.
Well, I mean, there's an answer there. I just haven't world built it yet.
Stricken from the record. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah. I hope that the Gordon's task force is all right. Says Zachriel.
They seem
Didn't
pretty
they-
capable.
Didn't they have a friend that was headed towards Tamarar?
The elf. The Eladrin elf.
Yeah. I hope she's safe.
Well, we'll assume that, actually, I don't know if he would say that. He just says, perhaps we'll check in later.
I think it's in good hands. We're sending the other team there.
So with that setting detail noted, Orboro, on the evening of the 26th of Kaithran, nearing the middle of summer. Orboro. Been a long time since we've taken this map out. Let me jump to.
The nostalgia.
Let me jump to the right
Isn't
thing.
this where your boo is?
I think so. This is also where we did Flying Gnome Fireball of Death.
Oh, I forgot about Flying Gnome Fireball of Death.
So, entering Orboro. The gates on the palisade, the metal, rusty palisade. You hear, "Hello down there!" You look up and you can see a person who is obviously a guard.
Hello up there.
Says, let us... They kind of like narrow their eyes and look down and say, "Hey, I think I recognize a lot of you." And then the one next to him, or on the other side of the gate, says, "Yeah, they're the... What? You guys had a title. Well, you're the guys that saved us. Got us back out of that weird monastery north."
Yeah, we may have done that.
You hear the gate opening. He says, "You should probably get in here. It's not too safe outside the walls near town at night."
As we pass through the gates, I'm gonna kind of like lean into him and say, "Hey, we didn't have to cross-dress to get in this time."
Tadias looks great in a dress, though.
All of the,
Did Vox hear that?
I have a passive of 18. Did I hear it?
yeah, you totally did. Absolutely.
I'm just gonna look at Tadias like, okay.
It's true. I do.
That's a story to tell over a drink, says Zachriel.
Many.
Seems like a lot of stuff has happened to you, Tadias.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. Ask him about his bacon days.
I remember those.
The thin ice right now.
We made
Well, should we go to an inn, find us a drink, and talk about it?
Oh, I'm going to allow Tadias to keep his dignity tonight.
At least if you're going to ruin my dignity, let me not be sober for it.
We have to buy him a couple bottles before we start talking about the dignity killers.
Before we get too far in, I'm gonna ask one of the guards why it's not safe to be outside of the walls at night. Has there been more stuff going on?
Yeah, there have been more of those. I think that Ren called them Ankegs, the bug things. There's been a steady stream of them,
Ugh.
and he's been helping us keep them at bay.
Where is this Ren? We need to speak with him as well.
And he says, "That's not his name's the the Renwick guy with the red hair."
Boo!
Is he here?
Yeah, he's been in town practically since you guys came through.
Delia's face goes red. Well, we should probably talk to him.
Oh, we have so much more to do before we can get to that, though, Delia, don't you think?
Sure.
Just has like a smile from ear to ear, like teasing her. Isn't there a dress shop in Orboro?
You're thinking of Tomarer.
Tadias walks away.
Oh, there's a seamstress though, but they mostly do leatherworking.
I think she was being sassy.
I know. I'm just saying. Tadias walks away. Where does he walk? What do you guys do?
Tatias! We
There's only
need
buildings
alcohol.
over here.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that alcohol's here, so I'm heading towards it. In fact, I remember liberating a place that looked a little bit like a bar. I'm going there.
Vox catches up to Tadias and puts her arm around him. Here, I'll buy you a drink. You can tell me all about it.
I already like you.
So you guys enter the Hammer and Tongs Tavern. And by the way, as you pass down the main drag, all of the shacks around here that you remember being kind of shitty, they're all spruced up. They all look very livable as opposed to hovel-like.
I'm trying to remember the name of that gentleman.
Ooh. That, the old man that was that came out to you guys? Ooh, yeah. That's a tough one because that's buried deep in the old recaps.
In the Buffalo times.
In the long, well, not the, well, yeah, kind of.
Deep in the archives.
Ooh, Derek.
Yes, it was Derek. I lean over to Delia and I say, I wonder if Derek's still around.
Are you guys still on the steed?
Yep. As we've gone through, it has steadily changed colors each time I've had to recast it, like the Wizard of Oz horses.
Right now, we're riding the emerald green one.
I was just gonna say the green one. I'm sure he's still around here somewhere. Is it? What time of day is it?
It's night, or it's sundown.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
see if we can find Renwick and a drink. Maybe we should do it the other way around. A drink, then Renwick.
Yeah, I could go for a drink.
So you guys go to the Hammer and Tongs Tavern. And inside, there are several people. There are several people, clearly workers, miners, having beverages. And you see Derek at the bar.
Derek!
Turns around. And he squints his eyes. His eyebrows go up and he says, "Oh, and Tadias and Zachriel and Delia. It's good to see you again."
Let us buy you a drink.
I was about to say the same thing.
Well, I'll buy you one, you can buy me one. How about that?
Sure.
Is Derek on the other side of the bar working?
No, he's sitting at it.
Oh, okay.
Derek, I should introduce you. This is our friend Vox. That is Vox. Derek is a friend when we came here and we had to deal with all the unpleasantries of a cult.
There's still unpleasantries about. At odd hours
You tell.
At odd hours of the day, and when I say odd hours, I mean it could be at any point during the day, there's a influx of those Ankag things. And fortunately for us, that Renwick fellow, he seems to not really need much sleep as he's awake and uses his magics to help our guardsmen that are slowly recuperating, keep them at bay.
Where is that Renwick staying?
Oh, he says he's probably at the guard station at the north, probably looking to the looking at the road. They like to come over the hills and the road.
Hey, Derek, you know this land a little better than me. Is there anywhere around here might be a giant earthen pit, like a very deep trench cut into the mountainside?
He says, a long time ago, when I say we, I mean a company of mine, we walked through the Mastrig Mountains looking for veins and such. To the east of here, there's a large pit of, sand and mud. And when I say large, I mean it is several miles wide. It isn't something that I would trek over.
No, I just heard about it. It was supposed to be a mile marker for us, so we might have to go near it. Is there anything dangerous around there?
Oh, plenty of creatures that live in the mountains. Bullets and kegs.
Unpleasantries, I see. Well, that's very useful, thank you.
He nods. And drinks are brought out. It's simple ale.
Hum just says to Orbo, may it continue to grow and thrive.
Tour, bro. And he does that. He cricks his neck and takes a big swig of water. I mean, the drink, the alcohol.
Well, we know where Renwick is now.
Delia takes a big swig.
So who is this Renwick guy?
Oh, he's only like the coolest dude on the planet.
Can't wait to meet him.
He is a master magician,
And
he's won the heart of Delia.
I show Vox my staff. This is Hope's End, Great Staff of Demise, and he invigorated it with powers.
Nice. So he's your loved one.
Well, I don't know if we're at the L word yet. Maybe someday.
I noticed you were blushing there.
No. She takes another drink.
Well, can't wait to meet him. He sounds amazing.
He's pretty great.
And Hum whispers under her breath, not to mention he's a lid.
What was that, Hum?
I
Oh,
elbow
nothing.
her a little bit.
Nothing.
Okay. Should we have another round? Of beer.
Jedi's not.
That sounds like I thought it was a given. I thought we were going to drink until we couldn't walk. That is how we prefer it, isn't it, Jedias?
I'm busy not walking, and he orders another one.
Well, I shouldn't get too drunk. I'm actually gonna probably go check in with Renwick.
Oh, I have to see this.
So who's going where?
Today's his company. He's gonna stay here.
All right. Tadias stays at the bar.
I'll stay at the bar too.
I think Zachariel would also... Actually, no, yeah, Zachariel will say, if you need anything, just shout. And he takes up a position by the door. I don't know if Zachariel would do that. I'm not sure what Zachariel would do, so we'll just have that in reserve. But Hum and Delia, you guys head over to,
Well, there's no way that we should be walking alone, seeing that their end kegs are...
This is true. I'll go with you, says Zachariel.
Are you going to guilt me off of my stool?
No.
Drink,
Go ahead.
Tadias, drink.
You...
Pamela, he's alright. I know you'll be fine, and you always can yell at me. Besides, I point to Delia. You want to get that woman from the liquor before she'd said something silly and ascending to him.
Good looking out, Tadias.
I gotta do the point in my head thing. It's like,
Yeah.
So, Hum, Delia, and Zachariel head to that guard station, and there's a guard that stands on duty, and it's getting darker, but you can see a robed figure standing facing the north direction. So, like, this is the same guardhouse that you guys were sort of on, where you fought off a bunch of those cultist dudes. So it's got 2 levels, and the bottom level has the crank for the gate, and then the upper level is where guard people can stand.
So is it like a platform?
They're on top of a roof, is what's going on.
So I can see them from where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like shout up, "Hi!"
Oh, hello down there. Is everything all right?
I'm looking for Renwick.
The hooded figure, like, straightens a bit, turns around, and Renwick has... Delia understands that Renwick has a disguise self on, but he smiles, and he says, "Ah, I knew you'd be back eventually."
Well, it's I mean, it's always good to see you, but we're here mostly for business rather than pleasure. I mean, not that.
Hi, Renwick. We're here to say hi and see how you're doing. I got your back.
Thank you.
Delia, why don't we, I'm going to come down. Why don't we, speak, in a more private place? He actually messages that to her. And then he...
I'll message it back. That sure, we could do that. That sounds like fun.
He, confers with the guard a little bit. And then, disappears from the top of the station there. And then, a few moments later, he walks out of the door. And he looks down at Delia and says, right over here should be fine. And he sort of leads you just a little bit over to here, out of earshot. And, he says, how much do you know about what's happening in Orboro, around Orboro?
Well, we heard that Ankegs were attacking, but that's all we've really found out since we've been.
That's the good summary of it. It's been... it's been a lot. I've been tapping all of my arcane reserves every day. I haven't been able to have any... or I haven't been able to send you any sendings because I am... frankly concerned about if I'll need to invoke power to assist their small guard force. I haven't had much time to move my things from the monastery. In fact, I bet there's a few books laying on the ground there that were sent to me.
Well, what can we do? How can we help you?
He says, well, where'd the thing go? He says, well, I've taken, some time to look over, corpses of these creatures, and I found masonry, chips of old masonry that matches the monastery back up the road. I can only assume that they're coming from there. Perhaps it would be prudent to check.
Yeah, I think we were gonna be headed that direction anyway. We've basically confirmed that the cults are starting up again, and basically causing havoc everywhere.
He gets this sort of foreboding look and he says, Delia, I fear that there was never a point where they weren't active. But he looks Delia over and he says, You've gained some more abilities, haven't you? I can tell.
I have. I'm pretty proud of myself, actually.
You should be. It takes a sharp mind to progress as far as you have.
Delia blushes, very visibly. She can't hide it. And she says, well, is there anything that we could do tonight to help out?
Well, if you wish to put yourselves on a watch rotation, just to have more eyes on the road. They come at random times during the day, and fortunately, I am able to not have to sleep.
Well, we probably should stop Fox and Tadias from drinking if we're going to take watch.
If you wish to be in fighting shape, I agree.
Yeah, we can take over your watch if you want. To take just a little bit of a rest if you need it. Not saying that you do need it, but
I appreciate the thought. I do. He looks at Delia, and you can see this sort of pained look in his eyes, and he says, I miss reading.
Oh, I'll take off my backpack, and I have textbooks rented out from
Aka?
I'm supposed to be studying for finals, but that kind of death of a teacher and null attack on the city kind of veered that off course.
Did you tell him about that in Ascending at all?
I think so.
Okay. He says, "Oh, that certainly makes sense."
And I'll hand him the textbooks that I have.
Oh, this is. He actually hugs them to his chest, and he looks at Delia, and he says, Delia, you warm my old dead heart," and he winks.
She giggles, and she says, "I can't promise that they're not gonna disappear on you. I've had them out for a little while, but I'm not sure if they're doing the whole late fees thing right now."
Well, I'll take a bit of a break and dive into. What's one of the books you gave him?
Well, now I have to think of an academic magical thing.
He says academic magic thing, technobabble style, and then he cracks it open.
Delia, did I hear you were staying with Renwick to hold watch while we go get Tadias and Vox from the...
Oh, yeah, I can do that. That is, yeah.
That's a good idea, says Zachriel. Let's go.
I throw an elbow at Delia. Don't have too much fun.
I stick my tongue at her, and then I turn back to Renwick. I don't know if you want to because we're over time, aren't we?
We are over time, but also Tadias is I think Miles took Tadias out of the scene for that reason, so I can keep going a little longer.
So I want to talk to Renwick about the elf in the forest, the Conadir forest that mentioned Randir, and literally my notes only say find Randir, and then under it there's a little arrow that says Samular, so I did a very bad job about remembering what exactly that elf told us.
He mentioned Samular's name, and that Samular was... He implied that he was the leader of this order that they belong to. So you mentioned that to Renwick?
Yeah, and she kind of digs her toe into the the lookout platform, and she says, I'm not sure if it means anything, but I figured I'd let you know.
Could it be my brother? Just a few days south of me the whole time?
It's definitely something I'm going to try and look into. After all this, and I make a broad motion towards where the monastery and the mountains are. After this is taken care of.
He says, if anyone can find out, just perhaps give me a chance to talk to him. I wish to understand him and perhaps find my phylactery.
She nods solemnly.
Well, perhaps we should... He shakes his head. I'm sorry, I need a moment.
I understand.
He sort of leans against the palisade. He drops Disguise Self, and you can see his skeletal features with just straps of skin taunt on his skull. And he has no expression on his face because his eyes are sunken in and there's no eyes. It's just the sockets.
I'm gonna lean against it too and just look out. I'm sure my face is right between the spikes or whatever.
They're tightly packed together. You actually can't see through them.
Well, okay. Then I'll just look in towards the city.
And he just sits in silence. He says, "You know, I've been thinking, Delia. For a long time..." I'm talking like Zachariel. He says, "For a long time, I've wanted to be done. To die. To rest. But..." He looks down at you. "Having someone to actually discuss arcane theory with, makes me want to hold on for a little longer." And he lays a skeletal finger behind her shoulder. Fingers, his hand.
Delia smiles up at him and she says, the most important thing to me is learning and being able to have these conversations with people.
He smiles, keeps his hand on her shoulder, and says, I think that's why we get along so well.
And then she changes the subject and starts talking about the textbooks that she brought him.
And we'll do a scene with them, but the rest of the excavators start approaching, and we will continue next week.
Bye, Joy!
Bye, Joy.
Bye, Joy.
Goodbye, Joy.